In previous video I talked about bootstrap button classes, and in this video I am going to demonstrate how we can use bootstrap button classes and extend the capability of bootstrap buttons to implement checkbox and radio buttons behavior using data toggle buttons attribute of the bootstrap buttons. So let's implement. So here I am inside project responsive website demo in form.html control. So let's first add normal checkbox controls. So here I have simply added a div with the class checkbox. Inside a div I have added a label control and added a input type checkbox and provided a value developer. Similarly, I have added another checkbox for the designer, and let's copy this code and paste one more time to create it for another profile DBA. So now here we have three checkboxes, and we have used bootstrap checkbox class to create a checkbox. So let's save change and refresh all page. So now we have three checkboxes for developer, designer and DBA. So let's group these checkboxes and add a label profile for these checkboxes. So let's create a div with the class form group, and let's add a label for this form group. Let's call it profile, and let's remove for attribute, and let's cut this code and paste inside the form group and save the change. So now we have a label profile, and for the profile we have three options: developer, designer and DBA. These checkboxes are displayed on the different lines. If we want to display these checkboxes in single line, then Bootstrap provide a class checkbox inline to display all checkboxes in a single line. So let's convert class checkbox into a class checkbox inline. So let's save changes and refresh all page. So now we have all checkboxes in a single line. So let's implement these checkboxes with bootstrap buttons. So now in order to implement these checkboxes with bootstrap buttons, we have to create a div with the class button group. So this will create a group of button, and inside this group we can add different checkboxes. We have to also add data toggle attribute equal to buttons. So now I have created a div with the class button and added a data toggle equal to buttons. So now let's remove this code and put these checkboxes inside class btn group. So now I have added three checkboxes, and I have also added additional classes such as btn and btn danger. So this will create a button element and wrap all input type checkbox with button. So let's save changes and refresh all page. So now we can see that we have three buttons displayed on the screen, and we can check these buttons. So now we can see that we have different color of selected checkbox. Similarly, if we check another checkboxes, now all three checkboxes are selected. So let's add some CSS to make the different color for the active state. So here inside the site.css, let's override class btn danger with active element. So now let's change the background color property to forest green and the border color to the forest green. So now let's save the change and refresh all page. So now we can see that if we select on the checkbox, then it will be highlighted in green color. So let's make couple of changes. So let's first wrap this button group inside a div to display it in different row. So just cut this from here and paste it inside the this row element, and we can also add btn group sm class instead of btn group, so it will display the small checkboxes instead of large. So let's save changes and refresh all page. So now we have three different checkboxes. So now we have three checkboxes on different line, and we have spacing among them, and we can check uncheck these checkboxes. So let's add radio button for the gender. So here I have added code for the checkbox. So everything is same, instead one thing is changed. Instead of type checkbox, now I am using type radio, and rest of the things are same. I have a class. I have a div element with the class btn group small and data toggle it. So I have it. So here I have added a div with class btn group sm and data toggle equal to button, and inside this div I have two labels with male and female radio buttons. So for each radio button I have added a class btn danger. So in so inside this button group I have added two input radio. So here inside this btn group sm class I have added two radio controls for male and female, and wrap these controls with the class btn danger. So let's save the changes and refresh all page. So now we can see that we have two radio buttons for the gender, and these radio buttons are looking like a buttons control. So if we check on any button, then we can see that these. So now we can select one at a time, and these are behaving like a radio button controls.